Welcome to the Cool Kids Table podcast. You can find all episodes of the podcast at thecoolkidstablepodcast.com. Instagram is the Cool Kids Table Podcast. The YouTube channel is the Cool Kids Table Podcast. Twitter is the Cool Kids Pod. And what's the other one? Facebook is the Cool Kids Table Podcast. Jump into DMs. It's always open for business. Let me know what you think. Fabian, we're waiting on you. Just the video. Click, and then we're good to go. Lighting looks good.
Right.
You can hear me all right?
I can hear you.
Perfect. Let's give you a quick introduction. My guest today is Fabian Ojeda. I had thought about asking him to be on a few times, but I just felt cool guy. Probably say no, but that's why it's the Cool Kids Table podcast. And then I saw his post yesterday. So let's start off with that. A little intro, and then tell us about your upcoming project.
Yeah. So first and foremost, man, I've listened to your podcast a few times actually. It's and I think that's probably where I drew a little bit of like the let's say inspiration or whatever, right? To start on my end because we went, we ran in similar circles, but not the same. So a lot of people that you're talking to, I don't know them. I have no rapport with them. But listening to the conversations, I think it's interesting almost every single time, unless you're talking about sports, I'm completely fucking lost. But, that's kind of the same format that I want to follow on my end is I just want to have interesting conversations. The podcast I'm starting is called the Ignorance is Strength podcast. That's actually a play off of a song that I created about 16 years ago, recorded in 2004, and I never did shit with it. I really was into music in high school a little bit after that. Was in a few bands and whatnot. But the title itself was from probably the only fucking book I could stand in high school, which was 1984.
Great
right?
book, George Orwell.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a cool line. Ignorance is strength. It's so ironic and whatnot. And so it fit perfectly. The line and the song fit perfectly into what I was trying to do is because when having a conversation, you shouldn't be a fucking expert, right? You shouldn't try to act like you know everything because then you don't know shit. You're only showing how kind of cocky and arrogant you are, which, is not to say that I don't have those moments, but I basically want to learn about something. I put on there if, maybe you started a business, maybe you're really skilled at something, maybe you have a unique point of view. Those are the conversations that I want to have. I want to learn a little something. We all got a bunch of free fucking time right now. There's nothing else to do but start new projects. I'm starting to dabble into a little bit of music again. I got my guitar set up and everything, electronic drum set. Quarantine, while it sucks ass, it's it's good in other aspects.
I couldn't have said it better myself. The first week I was going crazy. Second week, I kind of just thought, got to be productive. So I did a couple episodes last week, and now I got the ball rolling, and everybody seems excited because everybody's like, there's nothing else to do. I'll jump on that train. A lot of people that told me no before because of the time or just not their thing. Now they took the time to listen to podcasts because they're tired of Netflix and just everything going on. So now it's kind of cool to see everybody kind of like the productivity coming out,
There's only so many fucking times you can watch The Tiger King.
Oh, dude. Did you watch episode 8? I watched it last night. I was kind of like...
It fucking sucked, man.
Yeah, they could have done without it. I was like, they would have just left it at 7. We would have been fine. Nothing new happened.
They actually did a better job on Fox 11 with TMZ. So TMZ did a follow-up, and it was much better than what's that? The actor's name? The one that was on Community? The one that did
Joel McHale? Yeah, he's kind of annoying. Yeah. I watched it with my brother. Yeah, watch it with my brother. Right away, it's this guy. Like, before he even started, he's not for everybody, not for me, not for you.
Yeah, so that thing's a fucking phenomenon, but there's only so much of that you can watch over and over again. So, at that point, projects start to emerge. I started telling myself, like, I'm going to clean up this and that. Not so much on certain things. I did set up my nice little, in-room office and everything. Pretty much put everything I needed to work at home. But then again, working at home, there's not much to do, I probably work for, honestly, if it's a very productive day, 2 hours and it's like 6 hours of just fucking twiddling thumbs, which I'm grateful to have a job. I'm grateful that I'm not, being let go or downsized or having my hours reduced or anything like that. especially because it's very easy to cut us and cut us loose in what we do. You know, I work in after school. There's no school right now, right?
Yeah.
Hence, no after school. All the kids are being watched at home, presumably by their parents or by
Presumably.
or by the Tiger King by Joe Exotic.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
so some,
TV. Good old
yeah.
babysitter.
I mean, that's how I was raised. You know, that's so it is a good babysitter every now and then. It's a good fucking dictionary and thesaurus too, because that's where I learned a lot of my vocabulary.
Same. People tell me, why do you have this interest in history? I tell them, you guys don't remember that show, Historia? I used to be on
Mm-hmm.
CW. Like, that was one of my favorite shows. A little off topic, but yeah, because I mean, I watched a lot of TV growing up. That's why I kind of feel like a hypocrite limiting my daughter's TV time. But I'm like, if it's productive TV, like right now with ABC Mouse and
Mm-hmm.
Khan Academy, like, yeah, that shit's cool. She's learning. She even knows she's learning. She's like, wow, I can do addition. And I'm like, yeah, she's 4. She's starting. She doesn't trust me. It's 2 plus 1, 2 plus 2. But the fact that I saw this in class when they were struggling to get this 2 plus 2, 2 plus 3, it's just like, this is more advanced than where she's at. So I'm grateful for that.
I think you'll soon be entering the world of multiplication tables and whatnot, and it's no longer about memorization. So
Yeah.
have fun with that.
I've been looking at fucking good old YouTube, man. I've been spending so much time on YouTube. To
Yeah.
go on this tangent, I spent last night, I stayed up to like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, watching YouTube videos. And I'm not even watching for the content. I'm just like seeing all the crazy shit I could find.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that are less qualified than me, right? Or than us, or than people listening. And they have woodworking channels. And dude, they're making benches, like the most basic shit. But then somebody like myself, which is not to like belittle it, but I have no interest in that. It's not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd be like, okay, well, how am I going to make a bench? Let me YouTube it. And I look and they have like fucking 50,000 followers, videos. I mean, what's it called? Views. And then like you check out their channel and they got like 120,000 followers. And you're like, what the fuck? These guys are making a killing and they're doing the most mundane shit. Meaning, I was watching this Asian guy make tacos yesterday just because I wanted to see. He had a 42-inch grill by 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just like a big old. He's like,
A
I kind
flat
of.
top griddle.
Yeah. I was checking out griddles and I was like finding bigger ones and bigger ones, and I was like, everybody's like, if you're gonna buy the 22-inch, you might as well get the 28. Like, if you're gonna get 28, you might as well get 36, dude. Yeah, you got to get it, man. You might as well. You never want to upgrade. You already have it. And so I ran into a guy that had like, was it 64-inch by 20? I was like, what can you possibly do on this shit? And dude, he wouldn't say it's a little overkill. Like, I only use this corner, but I mean, everybody comes over and everybody wants to take a picture with it. And so he cooks these badass meals, but on this tiny ass corner of this big ass thing, he's making tacos. He's making asada tacos, but he's using the wrong meat. And then he has like fucking 50,000 subscribers. His video has like 100,000 views. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I could make this shit way
Mm-hmm.
better. Look at, because the tacos look bland, right? I wouldn't want to do this, but I'm just saying, like, how many other of these guys that you watch the video and you're like, oh, they know what they're talking about, but they obviously don't. But meaning this guy, I obviously knew he was full of shit. He didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. But how many he had all those people looking.
I'll tell you how I know somebody's full of shit when it comes to tacos, right? There's only one proper way to make a taco, and this is indisputable. The one tortilla thing's got to go. It's 2 tortillas, goddammit, right? It's always 2 tortillas, corn tortillas. You do that flour tortilla shit, I already know you're full of shit. I'm not listening to the rest.
Yeah.
So the only proper way to make a taco is 2 tortillas, whatever your fucking meat is, and you don't sub out your meat for some kind of soy bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Right? Onions, cilantro, salsa, maybe a little bit of lime, you're good. Anything after that, fucking overkill.
Yeah, you're doing how the kids say, you're being extra. And I agree. And I was just blown away by the amount, because YouTube is so big, right? And that's one of the reasons, hopefully we talk through this. Originally mine wasn't on YouTube, but then Libsyn introduced it to the thing, and so I was like, oh dude, YouTube. I get very, very few views on YouTube, just because it's just a still picture. Yeah, it's a still picture. It's a talk show with no fucking video. So people would just listen to it on Spotify or whatever, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts or whatever. But then you get those people that do see it there, and you get subscribers on there. And I'm just like, oh shit, these are people that you would never reach out to, right? Because I would have never put it on there just because I figured it's not a video. and then you see that other people do it, and that's why I kind of meant like, dude, put it out there and you'll get your following. You know, you're a funny guy. I was gonna even bring it up. You were the first person I see, maybe because you were one of the first people to start the quarantine. Because when you were on like day 6, I was like, oh shit, my day 1 is gonna be on Monday. But you were the
Yeah.
first person I saw sincerely on all of the webs, at least in my personal web, of quarantine day 1. Now everybody's doing it, and I could tell you've
Uh-huh.
been at it because you're like on 20 something.
It's
Meanwhile,
30 today. Yeah, it's
30?
30 today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, every 30 today is April 14th
30.
at
Yeah.
9:48 p.m. And I
I
got
even lost track of days. Yeah.
people are on like day 1, day 7, day 12. You know, so I was like, dude, this guy's been doing it, and they're funny as fuck. Hey, congrats on your check. I saw that you got your check.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got that Trump money, that Trump welfare money, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, it's really our money, but
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I'm still gonna use it.
Yeah.
Um, as far as the quarantine chronicles, as I'll call it, it's just something funny to keep me entertained every now and then. A few years ago, I think, probably like 8, 7, maybe 10 years ago, I did like a daily, like, this is a song of the day, and it would be like, one of the most obscure songs that you probably never heard, but I had it somewhere in my fucking playlist, and it reminded I had to justify, like, why do I like that song? Right? If I'm not able to write, 2, 3 sentences about why I like that song, maybe I don't really like that song.
Well said.
And so after that, I'm like, fuck, what else can I do? And somebody suggested to me, like, well, fuck, you do some funny rants. Why don't you like do a rant every single day?
You did that for a
Now,
year, right?
yeah, mind you,
Yeah.
a rant is probably about 2 pages worth, right? Maybe a page and a half, whatever. So it's 365 days. That's easily over 600-700 pages worth of rants. So I got a lot of bullshit going on up there. And I'm able to express it fairly well. Verbally, I think what happens is I think too fast for talking sometimes. Like, I'm able to make some witty points, like, every now and then verbally, but I prefer, writing it out. Taking my time, kind of, letting the joke savor a little bit, But yeah, I did that for a whole year. And that was really challenging because there's days where I'm just like, fuck, I'm tired. This is stupid. Why am I doing this? But people would reach out like, hey, you didn't, post your fucking rant today. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know anybody was paying attention.
That's it's I comparing feelings when I this started off once a week, every Thursday, dropping an episode. It was too much. Got a lot of stuff going on in personal life, a lot of work, a lot of everything. We all do, right? So
Yeah.
not to say we don't, but I just couldn't do it. So I started doing every other week, and then it became kind of like I've talked about it with various guests, but where it almost became like a chore. Where I used to, I like this, I'm enjoying it. I have fun with this. I'll listen to it, and then I'll fucking upload it, and I'll be like, that was fun. People are gonna enjoy this. Where I almost felt like sometimes like, fuck, I gotta do one for next Thursday, and it felt like the spice was gone, the flavor. I didn't feel like doing it, and so I took a break, and then people started reaching out to me like, yo, dude, it's been 3 weeks. You said every other week, and it's just kind of like, oh shit, like you're listening, like, yeah, dude, it's just fucking fun. Like I look forward to every week, but then you did it every other week, and they understand. So to like kind of, this is the new blogging. I used to have blog back in the day, fucking in high school, 2005, 2006, a little sports blog about fucking the shit I used to see. ESPN was new to me. So, to me, that's the first time we got cable. So I was always like watching sports and just seeing, oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. And it didn't grow, but it got a good following where it was like kind of nice to see people like kind of appreciate your words, like you said, like they look forward to it kind of thing. So now with this, everybody say it's podcast is a new blog. Not everybody has one, but the same thing, some grow fast, some grow slow. This one started off with the bang, and then just I kind of let it die down on its own because I was just like, nah. And now that I'm getting back into it, I'm like, whoa, dude, like people are out there and they want to hear this kind of conversation.
I call that kind of like the Crash theory. You ever watched the movie Crash?
No. I think I know what you're talking about, but no.
It kind of has almost like a Pulp Fiction feel to it, where you have several different people living, different parts of the city. They don't really interact, but at some point they all cross paths, right? And so I think one of the main topics explored there was that I don't forget which character said it. I watched it a long time ago, but sometimes we're just kind of so starved for human interaction that maybe we just subconsciously crash into each other just to fucking feel some sort of connection. And I
Okay.
think, and that's what I think is a podcast right now, is that we're so fucking isolated in this goddamn screen, this 6-inch screen, all fucking day. Some people never leaves their hands, not even when it's fucking charging. That's why you have to buy like 12 different fucking chargers, right?
Yeah.
But I think we're so isolated sometimes that all you want to hear is, even if you're not part of it, you want to hear a good conversation, And I think a lot of the podcasts that do well are the ones that, not where it's like solo. I really don't like listening to solo podcasts. At that point, you're just kind of self-indulgent and just like self-masturbatory fucking diarrhea coming out of your mouth,
I feel the
I
same way, but the listeners want me to do more of those. It's
really.
crazy. Yeah. At least my listeners, they'll listen to this show, because the way I've broken it down is like I'll share parts of me throughout each
Mhm,
episode. Like if I have a fucking gangbanger on, I haven't yet. They want to do it, but there's like, I don't want to lose my street cred type shit. But if I have
mhm,
like a businessman, we'll talk a little business, because I've had my own type shit. I talk with somebody that's done a warehouse job. We'll talk about warehouse.
mhm,
My friend that's like really into religion, we got into like why I left religion. My other friend, he's so political, we talk politics. So I'm always kind of just giving him little dabs of what my thoughts, but I'm here like to hear you out. And
mhm,
so then when people were starting to cancel on me and just things like that started going on, I started doing every other week. They're like, just release your own episode, just do your own, you'll do great. And I just did it. I felt like whatever. I did like 30 minutes.
mhm.
Everybody's like, dude, that was awesome. Do another one. I'm like,
Oh,
like, what the fuck? I don't want to hear myself talk. And they're like, dude, it's really good. Like, I want to know more about what you're doing, because, I'm doing a 2020 vision. That's where it all came from, because people are like, dude, you're trying to better yourself. You're trying to be a better person.
mhm,
And you're not just talking about it. Like, you're actually doing it. You're doing these things. We follow you on the medias. We see what you're doing. I do like a lot of behind the scenes work, like where I'll be like, the other day I did a 5-hour episode, and then I did 5 hours. I didn't edit it, but I had to figure out a way how to make I don't know how big that fucking file was, but it
mhm.
was way too much for even Libsyn.
Yeah,
So I had to compress it and compress it and compress it. So I was up to like 6 in the morning, and they saw the whole thing, me doing it. So then when the episode came out, we're like, dude, audio quality is great. Things that I don't even consider, I'm just kind of like, yeah, as long as they can hear it, they won't complain, because they're not here for the Joe Rogan studio. Obviously
right.
they see me on the fucking $50 microphone with fucking the earbuds that came with my phone. So they know it's like it's about the people I have on, like yourself. And
Mhm.
so they kind of appreciate that, like, the struggle. When I bought the equipment, I let them know, like, well, these two little pieces are going to allow me to get this onto multiple things and not just be on fucking Ponle, like Spotify. This will allow me to be two different whatever. And then Libsyn, I explained this all to them. So they kind of get a rapport with you. You get me? Even though you don't know them and they
Yeah,
really don't know you, they
right.
only know what you share. They do have that connection with you, where they're like, hey man, remember you said you were gonna do this? Did you end up doing it? Like, oh yeah, I did. Like, and they're like, oh cool, man, I was rooting for you type shit. Like, oh, so just something to consider, because I always tell
Okay.
myself, I don't want to do any solo episodes, but going forward, it's gonna be every 2 weeks a podcast. Right now, during the Rona, I'm gonna be releasing like maybe 2 a week,
All
one
right.
of these, and then uh, a Zoom party, as I call it. Tomorrow there will be 9 other people in here, and I'll
Mhm.
just whoever wants to come on, and that'll be recorded and uploaded. And then once it's all over and we all get back to our new normal, I'm gonna record 2 a month. Hopefully, I get 2 people, but if not, I might have to do one on my own, just to keep that steady. And that's what I was gonna tell you. Make sure you have a release date and you try to stay consistent. If it's
Yeah.
every 15th, let it be every 15th. If it's the first and the 15th, if it's every
Mhm.
other Tuesday, if it's every Saturday, if it's every Monday and Friday, just try to keep consistent, because they'll notice, and you are that void, or they'll make that void to fill you in. Like when I release on Thursday, people be like, you were my morning drive, um, like my audio for that morning drive. And when you stopped, I started listening to some other shit. And then when you came back, it was like, well, I got to listen to that first. And then now was option B, even though before they didn't listen to podcasts, if that makes sense. So just try to keep them happy.
That does make sense. I think you used to release what on Wednesdays or Thursdays? What was the day?
Thursdays, yeah, every Thursday.
Thursdays. That's right. Because I listen to a lot of wrestling podcasts, right? It's just, stupid, entertaining shit,
Yeah, yeah.
about stories and whatnot. But sometimes when they're fucking boring, I'm like, let me see what else is out there. And I think that was the first time I checked out yours when I'm like, all right, I don't have any more wrestling podcasts. Let me check out this dude's podcast. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to start off with, I didn't really know anybody at that point, but you had George. I'm like, George, he's cool. I know that guy. And his shit was interesting, man. It was funny,
Yeah.
And so from there, I gave a few other episodes a listen, and they were all, the same kind of quality of conversation,
That's what I try to do. I just feel like whatever they gave me, I just go back. I'm not trying to push an agenda. Obviously, I'll voice my opinion to what I believe about whatever they're talking about. And I don't know what you're gonna do with yours, but I am interested to hear it. I have a few people that I listen, like either friends or acquaintances that have started their own podcast, and I'm just like, dude, whatever I could help with, I'll be glad to help, because it's almost overwhelming at the beginning when you're like, dude, I got to do this, and then you see, oh, this guy's on YouTube, this guy's on Spotify, but it's all a process. You do it once and you're set. Like, yeah, we had issues earlier today with YouTube not letting us get on there, like as far as video, but we were on there. You get me? If we wanted to proceed, we could have done that, but I just felt like it's on YouTube. We might as well just have my dumb little logo, as opposed to them staring at a blank screen, not knowing if we're there or not.
Are they still able to listen to it right now?
No. We left that. Yeah, we left that just because. I mean, I could invite them on here to see this, but then it,
then it gets cluttered. Yeah.
Yeah, and then some of them try to join the chat, and then it's kind of let them. But then I don't know. That's why I'm doing the Zoom party, so we can have one-on-one. And then tomorrow I might even leave for a while. Go do some dishes, go have some dinner, and then just let them. And then we'll see how it goes. It was kind of interesting last week. We did 4 hours. It was, yeah.
Yeah. Fucking quarantine's got us doing some fucking silly shit, man.
And people fucking listen to it. That's what I tripped out on. I was like, well, fuck it. It is what it is.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I like that you mentioned the consistency. I think as far as on my end, I'm very systematic about things like that. Even with my stupid rants, I probably had 5 in a row saved up where they're like fallback. If I don't have anything to say, these are my fallbacks, right? And so I want to apply that same logic to anything I do. For this, I want to record 5 episodes to start before I even release anything.
Yeah.
Have 5 in the back pocket ready to go. And I've already identified some of the people I want to talk to, and they're, for lack of a better word, safe conversations. They're people that I know I can banter with, who I have a good rapport with. We have stupid inside jokes that maybe nobody will get, but they'll laugh at because it's fucking funny, And from there, I'd like to venture out and see, go outside my circle. For example, my first tentative episode will be with my younger cousin who has some experience with steroids, right?
Oh, shit.
And I don't know a goddamn thing about steroids other than what's out there in the media and whatnot. I watched the documentary Bigger, Stronger, Faster, which is pretty entertaining. But he has first-hand knowledge of what they do to you. Are they that bad? And how the fuck did he get his hands on?
Yeah.
I don't know if he feels comfortable talking about it, but let's just say, and before I incriminate anybody, it's all for entertainment purposes. None of this should be taken seriously. If he feels comfortable talking about it, he didn't just, buy them and take them. He did other stuff with them.
Okay.
And if he feels comfortable talking about that, I'm really interested to see how that works, because, that's something I don't ever see myself having an experience in. So I'm really fucking curious.
And that's a great strategy. They recommended. I went with 3. I fucked up. I should have done 5. That's what my brother's gonna start a podcast of his own, actually, and I told him to do 5. 5 is the good number, because even people told me, dude, I listened to all 3 the first day, because it's that new toy. You want to give them that more and more and more, because people will find the time, especially if they have that one. That already captivates me. Steroids. I just watched the Chris Benoit. What is it? Something Dark Side of the Ring, last weekend on YouTube, and they were talking about CTE, and I was like, what about all the steroids that are going on? Look at Goldberg, he's 50 something, and he's fucking jacked as shit at WrestleMania. Yeah. So that's intriguing, fucking the NFL with the whole CTE and all this, and it's now the blame's on CTE. 10 years ago, it was on steroids.
Yeah.
So
and I think why it's because it's easy to point to steroids and say this is something tangible. we know they're taking it. Nobody knew what the fuck CTE was when they were blaming steroids.
Yeah,
So, it's
true.
this invisible fucking demon. It's like, okay, if it's not the steroids, what is it? I don't think that, I've never taken them, probably couldn't fucking afford them. But, I don't think that it alters your personality or mood to the point that you want to fucking kill people. And I just don't think so,
There has to be
from
underlying issues there.
yeah, I've seen fucking bodybuilders at the gym who they're pussies, they're big, they're big as fuck, but they're pussies, because sometimes they try to fucking monopolize shit, and you go up to them and you punk them, right, and they step aside, right, and that's just because they want to look the part. It's all about aesthetics at that point, So I don't think that roid rage is as big or as prevalent as media used to make it seem. I think they kind of it's kind of taking a back seat now to CTE, and I think CTE is more to blame for people lashing out and committing suicide. A lot of football players that commit suicide, right? They preserved their brain because they wanted their brains studied, because they knew there was some shit going on up there, hearing voices or whatever the hell's going on.
Aaron Hernandez, that fucking recently on Mind of a Criminal, I think it was called. I can't remember what it was called, but it was good as well on Netflix.
I don't know, but Netflix is just cranking that shit out, man.
Dude, they're making it. They're killing it. They're killing it. Their stock went up when fucking quarantine hit.
And you know what's funny though? You see all these people who are like, "Oh, I hate Joe Exotic." Fucking, he's a piece of shit. We know that, right?
Yeah, agree.
He's not a hero. We fucking know that. What you see is what you get with that fucking sack of shit. And he's unapologetic about it, and that's probably what people enjoy, and that's why he's so charismatic. He just doesn't give a shit. But it's funny because you'll see those same people, go and defend fucking Aaron Hernandez, or they'll go and defend fucking making a murderer guy.
Oh yeah, Avery. What's the name?
You know what I'm saying? So it's like pick and choose. I don't want to hear these fucking armchair fucking detractors and be like, "Oh, you shouldn't be watching Tiger King because blah blah blah." I'm like, no, fuck you. It's entertaining.
It's a documentary and entertainment at that. And of course they have their own agenda. The way I looked at it was like, I came out of it like this was funny as fuck. Like, would I have watched this during regular time? I think a lot of us wouldn't have. But we all got time in the world. I would have watched episode 1 and been like, nope, not for me. I watched episode 1 and I said, that's just crazy. Watched episode 2. After 2, I was like, oh damn, this is heating up. After 3, I was hooked. And the thing is, I came out of that like, I hope people see how fucked up it is to have animals in cages, That's where I came out. Like, even fucking Carol Baskins, dude, she's making a killing. Fucking, she spent $2.5 million trying to get Joe in jail, so she has money, So she's not rescuing them. She's doing the same shit like what they try to portray. Right? I was like, dude, SeaWorld, all of that, Blackfish, like the animals shouldn't be in cages. Let them back into their natural habitat. You're not saving them.
Yeah, I don't know enough about that to really speak on it, but one of the things I think they kept going back to is that there's not a wild for them to go back to.
But that's because people are killing them. But either exploit them for money or let people out there.
I get it. It's wrong to keep them cages and whatnot, but I'm still, from the old school of thought. And if I'm a fucking asshole for it, I'm an asshole for it. But god damn it, I miss, the circuses where you would fucking have, elephants and tigers and lions and all that shit. I grew up on that. It was something to look forward to every year. And I know now in our fucking social conscious, this and that, it's wrong, but I'm like, fuck, man, like there's going to be kids that never see that shit,
I personally never went to a zoo like that. I went maybe when I was like 6 or 7, and it was like more acrobats, magicians, dancers, like sword guys. There was no animals. So when I went to go see the zoo this past not even past year, this past like 2 months ago in January, they had the big, like their logo was a big elephant. So I said, oh shit, they're going to have animals here. And I thought nothing of it. And then they didn't have any animals at all. And I was just the same thing. I was like, oh, I guess all this shit's changed or whatever. And I didn't look into it. I didn't think nothing of it. But I just remember seeing like, why would you have your logo with the big old elephant and there's no elephant in the zoo?
Yeah, it's a very thin line, because for things like circuses, zoos, something like SeaWorld, whatever, if you were to eliminate all that, who the fuck would ever want to be a zoologist or anything like that? Like what's going to spark the interest in kids? At that point, you start to lose any sort of access to it. And again, it's a thin line because people have their feelings strongly one way or the other. But I I don't know. I think we you know we I think that we should be able to contain it in moderation if that's possible.
And I don't even know where to start because I'm a carnivore. So how
Yeah.
can I say, hey, animals shouldn't be in cages, but then I'm over here eating beef, like,
Or
you
shit,
know,
like some people have X amount of pets that they don't really take care of.
oh
Most
yeah.
of the times it's these fucking animal lovers that overdo it. They'll fucking they'll have a deaf, blind, fucking cancer ridden dog that by all means should have been put down years ago. But they fucking keep them suffering out of selfishness. And they're the first ones to tell you, like, zoos are bad or whatever, fucking bad fish, this and that. So whatever, man. We're always right in our own mind.
That's actually something I read today. Somebody will find the fault in someone else, but they'll never find it within themselves. And they're like, and I'm talking about you reading. And I was like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah. He got that motherfucker got you good.
Yeah. I was like, well, I
Yeah.
mean, I try not to, right? But like,
Yeah.
that's one of the things where, you just got to be socially aware, consciously aware. Dude, don't do what you don't like see other people do. And I was like, I don't really
Mhm.
talk about other people like behind their back and shit. Cause I've talked about it here. A lot of my coworkers at previous jobs do it. And I'm just like, why do you guys do that? And then they come to me and they're like, oh, you hear about something? So I'm like, dude, now I just walk away. I'm like,
Mhm.
I'd rather not be part of it because then they're going to say I gossip. So let's not deal with it. So to me, it's kind of like I'm seeing these changes in me. But then
Mhm.
sometimes I guess like I still judge, I saw some guy the other day when I went to go put gas. Um, he was wearing gloves. He
Mhm.
went in there, he fucking whatever, did everything. And then he put the pump back. He's fixing his mask with his gloves, like he's fixing his hat. He's checking himself in the mirror. I'm just saying this because he was right next to me, and I'm just standing there with my gloves, right? And I took
Yeah.
2 pairs. So as soon as I was done pumping it, closed it, took off my gloves, put on a fresh pair, got inside my car. This guy
Yeah.
like looked at me like, "Oh, this motherfucker has 2 gloves." Like I could see his eyes. Like he's like, "This motherfucker has 2 gloves." And then he just went in his car, and he was like, kind of like being aware that everything he has his gloves on, right? Like he's touching his steering wheel. And I was like, you dumb motherfucker. I shouldn't have
Yeah.
done that, right? Like, and even if nothing was said verbally, I was just thinking, like, you dumb motherfucker. And I was
And
like,
it was
Hector, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Like,
well, maybe at that point the guy just realized, like, well, I just voided these fucking gloves.
uh,
You know,
it's, it's,
you can't help it. You're gonna do what you're gonna do.
yeah, I try to limit, like I said, but I'm still guilty of it. It's just kind of funny to be consciously aware of it while you're doing it. Like, I was not laughing, but I was just like smirking as I drove out, like, you dumb motherfucker. And I'm like, Hector, you're better than this. Come on, man. And I was like, you piece of shit. Why are you like this? Why are you like this? You say you're talking about changing this and that. No, well, that's half the battle, right? Being consciously aware of the things you're
Mhm.
doing wrong. So that's a start. We're on the right path. But
Yeah. I'm a little bit more mischievous. I like to sometimes play the open ear on both sides, man. Not an instigator, but it's entertaining sometimes to hear, people talk shit about each other back and forth, and you're just kind of like the fly on the wall. I don't even say a goddamn thing. I just listen. You
yeah,
know, all these time I've worked in a lot of offices with a lot of women, and all of
oh,
them talk shit about each other. I'm sorry, but that's the truth.
that's a fact. Yeah,
Uh, you
even
know,
their besties and all that. It's
oh,
just
especially those.
it's like that's why. I mean, I learned it like the hard way. But when you're like, they'll talk about somebody to you, they'll talk about you to somebody.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes you're just hearing it. You don't even say shit. And next thing you know, it comes back around what they're saying about you. Like, for reals.
Yeah, anybody willing to talk shit about somebody else is automatically gonna do the same to you. So I don't trust them. I don't care. But sometimes it's entertaining to listen to.
Yeah. Same thing with Facebook. I thought that's what you're going to bring up about. Because a few years ago, I would get involved in the political
Mm,
commentary or whatever. And I was just like, dude, it's not a lot of energy. It's not a lot of time. But some
mm,
people are married to their beliefs. Like, no matter what you say, no matter what data you hit them with, no matter what you show them, they're going to believe what they believe. And that's that. So it's just like,
Mhm.
am I gonna change their mind? Or and then I was like, why am I trying to change their mind? So I said, you know what? Fuck all that. So once in a while I'll post shit to get like some feedback, because I do use a lot of it for like my conversations, right?
Mhm.
When like Republican friends, I don't have many, but when they'll post something, I do want to read it because I'm like, let me see what you guys are reading to have the belief that you're having. And a
Mhm.
lot of times it's just bullshit. But not to say there's not bullshit on the Democrat side. You know, there's bullshit everywhere. But I'm just like, dude, like even in your article, it's saying it's not true what you're the headline, you know, obviously clickbait and all that. So I just
Mhm.
kind of, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. And so, like you said, I'll just fly on the wall. Earlier, there was like 45 comments about the Trump is backing out or not giving money to
To the
the
World
World
Health
Health.
Organization.
Dude, these people, I've never heard them say it in their life, and they were just like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
the
All of a sudden, they're experts, right?
yeah, the WHO does this. They were the responsible for this. Oh my god, I can't believe he did this." And I was just like, I don't know much about them, but I know they fucked up a few years back with the Ebola outbreak. So let me just do a quick Google search and see if that's true. Like, oh yeah, they've admitted multiple times to mismanaging their money, like over and over. Like these guys aren't perfect. Whatever, they're trying to do good, right? So I just went back to reading it, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, this is from." I call myself a liberal, you know, more progressive, whatever.
Mhm.
And I'm like, dude, you guys are full of shit. Like this is not like fucking,
They're not
they're
saints.
not saints, dude.
Yeah.
Like this is, I mean, it's. I didn't look into it. Like I read like two articles about it. The one they posted and the one I'm telling you about, where I had read stuff in the past about the whole mismanagement of money, and then these people were like experts, like legit telling you everything they've done. And then
Mhm.
the other side was like, and I was just like, oh man, dude. And I couldn't hate because that was me 2, 3 years ago. So I just said,
Mhm.
just enjoy it. Don't like anything because I know you were here, and just go on with your life. And I did it. And then it was right before dinner. So I was laughing because I was just like, damn, dude, like, don't be that guy, Hector. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. And so I
Yeah.
was just dancing and shit. I'm a fucking dumbass, you know, right? So I started singing my songs in Spanish and like, why are you so happy? And I'm like, because sometimes when you see who you are and you see you're not that person, it does make you smile a little bit like, okay, I used to be fucking stupid. I still
Mhm.
am, but I used to be way worse. So I was just like, this,
You know, we were all fucking stupid, you know? And I think at some point, right?
yeah, yeah.
You
To
know,
be old
and
and wise, you got to be young and stupid.
yeah, and I find sometimes when I look at like young people doing stupid shit, I'm like, God damn, why are you doing that? Then I realize like, oh yeah, I did that too.
That was us. We just did it in a different way. And we didn't have social media. I mean, we did, right? We still kind
In
of
the
did.
infancy, you know, in the
Yeah, yeah.
infancy of it,
So,
you
but
know,
like now, you know, they got Snapchat in class. There's like kids going to
I was
jail for having, I didn't even
getting
know that
retarded
was
on
a
that.
thing.
Yeah.
You got Snapchat nudes like from a teenage girl, and then you guys
Hmm.
graduate, and then that's called child porn because she was fucking 17 at the time, even though you were 17. I was like, whoa!
Yeah.
Imagine
Well,
you
both of
go
them
to,
are guilty of it.
yeah, but you go
Yeah.
to jail. They don't know that she sent that to you when she was 17 and you were 17. They just read your
Hmm.
report, fucking child porn on his phone. And you're like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? So just different times, scary
And
shit.
yeah, and you know that's something I do a lot of trainings for work. You know, work with kids and shit. So one of the safety trainings I did for staff one time in the summer, I had to remind them. You know, you, you really don't want to confiscate phones. Like that's a big you know teachers do it, administrators do it. You know, they take that risk, but as a fucking whatever we pay our staff 14, 15 an hour staff member dollar an hour staff member, you don't want to do that. You don't want to take that risk. You know, you don't know what the fuck is on there. You don't know what's going to pop up on that screen. You know, because there were instances before where there's bullying or whatever, and a staff member just tries to make sure that they take control of the situation. A kid will be like, oh, they're taking pictures of me, and I want it deleted. Right? It's not your job as a staff member to delete that shit. Because what happens when you start looking through their phones? You find shit you don't want to see.
That's
Right?
scary. Yeah.
And as soon as you did that, you incriminated yourself, right? And now that kid can go and be like, they looked at me in the whatnots, and it's like,
Yeah.
you don't want to be in that boat. That's probably the most troublesome, worrisome part of having uh, kids with technology. I don't think anybody should have Snapchat and all that other shit till they're like fucking out of high school. But
It's,
good luck trying to stop it.
yeah. And I mean, they know the demographic. They know the deleting of. I don't have one, but enough of my friends have it, and they've explained it to me, and they told me what it's for. It's for nudes. Like everybody that
That's
has
what I
one.
originally. I've never used the thing, right? But that's what I
Yeah,
originally understood when it first came out. I'm like, isn't that the shit where kids send like fucking naked pictures to each other and shit? Like that's what I thought it was.
yeah. It deletes, and then if they screenshot, it lets you know. So then you don't want to lose the privilege of getting them, so you don't screenshot. You get me? So it'll erase whatever.
It's
Uh,
too far beyond my scope, man. I
yeah,
don't
and
understand
no,
any of that
and
shit.
I'm just like, why go through all that trouble? Like, if they want to send it to you, obviously they trust you.
Mm-hmm.
They should trust you enough not to know that you're not gonna fucking screenshot or save it or send it to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, that's crazy. Like, I remember I got my first phone senior year, and it was a Nokia,
Mm.
and it was one of those bricks, and it was for calls and texts, and the texts were like, "Pick me up," like
Yeah,
it was like
simple.
the most, yeah, yeah. And now it's like there's, I take my daughter to school. She's in preschool. She was in preschool,
Mm-hmm.
and when we be driving to take her, I see kids walking like adults walk at the mall, with their phone in their hand, staring down, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you're going to school. Like, what could possibly have happened in the 2 hours you've been away for you to
Mm-hmm.
be on your phone? Like, what is? I don't get it. But then everybody tells me, wait till your daughter so I can 10, and she's asking you for a phone because all her friends have phones. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
guess we'll get to that bridge when we get there. But it's just technological advances have changed it such a short time that some of us still haven't adapted. At least myself.
Yeah, I'm. I mean, I'm kind of like social media is stupid, but that's by choice. I for the longest time I'm just like, all right, I'll just have the fucking MySpace back when that was the best thing going, and it
Yeah,
was the best goddamn thing. We should have all stayed there, goddamn it.
yeah, yeah.
But then,
The conspiracy that's kind of true is everybody was learning the code for free because everybody had their page decked out.
oh yeah, yeah.
So Fox bought it out, and then that's why they made it shitty. Because why would you take such a great thing and just kind of like everything that's great, take it apart, so that people would leave it because they saw that too many people. It's a conspiracy, but it is true. They did buy it and they did take everything off. Who knows? Maybe they thought it was gonna work, but
That was pretty cool, man. You could have your fucking music pop up every time
yeah,
somebody, gets on your page. They see a little bit of your personality and whatnot. Now it's kind of all uniform. And
yeah.
uh, but now that actually, I think I got my first job through fucking MySpace.
How was
You
that?
know, so I remember at the time, it was right out of high school, and I'm like, fuck, like it kind of sucks not having a job and going to community college, not making any fucking money, and I'm like, what can I do right now? Like, what can I feasibly do for someone with no experience, with limited transportation? I say that because I had, the shittiest fucking car and whatnot. But right out of high school, I got a lot of like bouncer gigs, right? And I shouldn't have even fucking been in those places. But it was, they were paying me under the table. They saw I was a big kid, and I messaged this guy who was posting about, we need bouncers at this club in Long Beach and shit. And I'm like, I just asked him like, hey, I'm only 18 years old, but what steps do I need to take to become a bouncer? The guy tells me like, can you show up Thursday with the black suit? I'm like, yeah. He goes, all right, just we'll get you started then. I'm like, well, fuck yeah, man. That pays to be a big fucking Neanderthal at that point, Like it was my first job because MySpace had kind of like their own little like Craigslist section. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if you
remember that.
if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
remember that.
I do.
Yeah, man. And then like I used to get all kinds of fucking gigs when we were when I was in a few bands and shit. So that thing was the best tool right there for a young social media entrepreneur, entertainer, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. Podcasting probably would have gone over big on that.
Yeah, because fuck, I listen to a lot of different variety of podcasts, but it's whoever uses what they have available that thrives. Because Kevin Hart, Joe Rogan, Tom Segura, Bill Burr, these are all like huge comedians now, right? And even though they had some sort of name back
Mm-hmm.
then, they used MySpace to their advantage to sell tickets. They would post little clips of them. This was before YouTube. This was before
Mm-hmm.
fucking like the share button, and they would just send it to their friends, like your friends. They were literally your friends on the website on MySpace,
Yeah.
and just be like, hey, here's 2 minutes of me doing comedy. I'll be in your city, come June if you're interested. And don't get me wrong, it was kind of like a minor celebrity hitting you up, but they weren't as big as they are
Mm-hmm.
now. And they grew and grew and grew. But because people's like, oh, well, look at Joe Rogan. He drops a podcast and 3 million people listen. And he's talked about it like, but I had 3 million people listening because 12, 13 years ago, I had 1,000 friends on MySpace, and I was hitting up every single one of them like, hey, I'm starting this new tour. Let me know where your city's at. I'll try to get you 20% off on your tickets, So kind of like, if you have the technology and use it to your advantage, it could help you out in the long term. Because now all these guys are huge. Obviously, they're fucking very talented. But I mean, MySpace was the shit.
Yeah, I remember that actually with Rogan because when he took over the Man Show with that other guy, it's kind of like they're like the B team,
Yeah.
Fuck are these guys? Where's Corolla and Kimmel?
I like Corolla. Corolla has a great podcast too. But I really like Corolla and Kimmel. They were fucking good. Like they were it felt natural. And this one almost felt like they were trying to like be them instead of being genuine. They were trying to like be like them.
It was the Walmart greater value fucking
version.
Yeah. It was, nobody knew who the fuck they were. And now Rogan's like, one of the biggest celebrities on earth right now.
Yeah. He hosted 3 presidential candidates in the last 6 months.
That's true.
That's crazy.
And nuts.
But so the point being, use social media to advantage. You don't gotta post a lot. I don't really post a lot. I post a lot on my personal, but on the podcast page, I always forget. It's very simple. Make a page for your podcast, right?
I did that.
Like an Instagram. No, you did on Facebook. I saw that.
I did on the Instagram too.
Instagram, okay. Well, we'll shout it out at the end. But you could synchronize it so whenever you post, it's easier to go from Instagram to Facebook, but you could also do Facebook to Instagram. But when you post on Instagram, it'll go straight to Facebook. And if you have Twitter, the same thing. From Instagram, you could go to Twitter and Facebook. So like on Twitter, I have like fucking 30 followers. I never post on there, but I just synchronized it this week. So every time I post there, it goes there. Same thing through Libsyn. You set up everything. Your podcast will go there. It'll go to Facebook. It'll go to YouTube. It'll go to Spotify and all that. Because you want to post everywhere, but you don't want to go in there and post individually. So try to set it up so you could just post on Libsyn, show goes everywhere. Post on Instagram, your posts go there. Just because, dude, it is time consuming. Personally, I get the best reactions when people ask me questions, and I'll tell them DMs are like before you got on. I was like, DMs are open. Feel free to hit me up. Because then they'll message me like, yo, dude, who is this guy? Yada, yada, yada. I'd be like, oh, I worked with him when I was bartending, known him for a few years. He's funny on Facebook. And then they get that rapport, right? Some people have told me, hey, I got a bunch of followers from your show, and other people are like, dude, I didn't notice any friend requests or nothing. If they want to follow people, they do. If they don't, they don't. I don't know how they would feel about it, but they have followed like the business pages that people have had, or I'll tell them follow his. You get me? So like follow their Instagram, follow whatever, and then that way, I'm sure people are gonna like you. They'll be interested. Okay, let me know what his show's called, or let me see where I could get his YouTube, Spotify. Like my brother did the same thing. He came on here. He said he's gonna drop a new show like in 2-3 weeks. They hit me up. Yo, dude, when's your brother's podcast? I'm like, he's been busy. The whole Rona thing has thrown him off schedule because he was trying to do something similar to mine, these one-on-one conversations, but he's still working at his job. So he's just kind of taking. He's essential. We're all essential, but we just like said, fuck that. Like I'm telling you, the first week I was going crazy. Now I'm like, dude, today is my 3rd Tuesday off. The listeners know this story, but in 2016, I worked from January to Thanksgiving, right? The only days off I had were my daughter's birthday and then that Thanksgiving. August, yeah. I worked 7 days a week. 5 days on my regular job, and that's when I had my hat business. Worked Saturday and Sunday from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. So it was just, I was burnt out, and then I still work a shitload. And so now I'm like, dude, this is nice. Like I saw a meme that fucking sucks. It said, this is every millennial's retirement, so enjoy, fuckers.
Yeah, I can relate to the that work ethic part, man. I think you mentioned it was that about 11 months or so?
Yeah, just under, because it's like the fourth Thursday of November.
there was a time, I think I was 19 or 20 years old. I was working for a couple of security companies, bodyguard agencies, all that bullshit. I had work every single day, sometimes twice a day, sometimes overnight. And so I counted the days, right? And it was 523 days straight without a fucking break. No, no Easter off, no Christmas off.
Yeah.
I remember working a fucking rave at Avalon in Hollywood on fucking Christmas night with a bunch of Armenians and shit. Like, that was crazy, man. 523 days
That's
without
crazy.
a break.
That makes my fucking lot of work look like a bitch.
It's it is what it is. I mean, a lot of the time all I had to do was stand there. So I'm sure you had to, I'm sure you had to actually work.
True. But yeah, so so I'm enjoying it now. I'm fucking exercise. I'm fat as fuck, but I'm exercising. I'm reading. I'm writing. I'm working on my website. Just kind of trying to stay productive because the first week I was like, dude, I'm a lazy piece of shit. All I wanted was time off. Like, I'll take a week off, like eventually. And now that I have the time off, I'm doing nothing. That's the week I watched Tiger King. That's the week I fucking, what did I finish? I rewatched The Office. I rewatched a bunch of UFCs. I watched some, which, I watched something else. I can't remember. But anyway, that's a week that I kind of just took off, and I was like, dude, if we're doing this for a month, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? And that's last week is when I started getting productive, working out, not dieting at all, right? Because we're in fucking quarantine. But I'm eating better. I'm reading, writing, and I just like it feels good. I feel like, okay, if I could keep these habits once I get back to the real world, I'll be all right because I feel, even though it's not a lot, I feel productive, and I feel like I just keep this little thing going, and you'll be all right because once we get back to fucking working 8-10 hours a day, there's no time for these things anymore.
Mm-hmm. I think what it is the mind and the body just get fucking lazy of being lazy, like because my sleep pattern has been fucked up since quarantine started, and so sometimes I'll be lying down like at 3 or 4 in the morning. I'm not on my phone. I'm just fucking lying there, right? But I've had naps throughout the day and whatnot. But I'll just all of a sudden start getting like restless legs and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then I'm like, okay, I got to do something. I got to move around. I got to fucking, think of something. Cause I'm not tired, like I don't know what it is, but like my body at that point craves to, do something, it's like, I can't even sleep.
No bullshit. I don't know if you know, I live in Moreno Valley, which is about an hour 15 minutes away from El Monte.
Mm-hmm.
And I would get 4 to 6 hours sleep on average any given night.
Mm-hmm.
And now the first week I got like 8, 10. Like I was just like, oh dude, I felt good. Like, okay, this is what rest feels like. And now I did nothing like that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where I was up for 2 days and I wasn't tired because my body's doing nothing. Like I was legit just sitting and eating. So when it came to, I'd go to bed at 3 in the morning. I toss and turn till like 5, 6, and I'd be like, you know what? Just get up. You're just gonna lay here for another 2, 3 hours. Just get up. And I'm like, I can't sleep. And it's that's one of the parts where I started exercising, right? Burn some calories, like get my body tired. Cause I was like, dude, I'm doing nothing. Like I'm legit doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So little that my body does not get fatigued.
Mm-hmm.
And so just kind of staying busy. I mean, now I'm getting 7, 8 hours, which is cool with me. That's more than I need. I'm good with 7. And I just feel like, dude, it's gonna suck when I go back to work and getting those 4, 6. Hopefully I'll do better, but just looking, I don't know when it'll be, right? It might be a month, might be 2 months. I'm not really tripping on it anymore. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be broke. I was essential, but I left my job just because I felt like we were gonna end up shutting down anyways.
Okay.
And so I was like, what's the point of me being at risk, for another paycheck? Like, in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to move the needle. It's going to move the needle for 2 weeks, but it's not going to move the needle fucking 2 months down the line. I'm going to put people in danger. I'm going to put myself in danger. I'll be fine. But fact is, I still don't want to, like, for work, for a paycheck. So I just I thought to myself, I have a little one that I still see. So I was like, you know what? There's no point in me having her. And then she goes and gets her other family sick, So just kind of, so that's why I call myself, essential but illegal. I was like, fuck it, I'll be fine. I'll find something, another job down the road. Like, I'm not gonna worry about it. And that's why now people tell me like, dude, you were so stressed out like 2 weeks ago. I wasn't stressed out. It was just I was going crazy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was never home. I come home, shower, sleep, eat sometimes. Sometimes I wouldn't eat and just the next day eat out while I was out there. And now I'm here fucking 24/7. So I just felt like what's it called? Cabin fever.
Yeah, yeah.
Where I was just
Starting to
like,
set
dude,
in.
this is fucking going. I will not be able to do this. Like, I have discipline, but this is just bullshit. And I just
Yeah.
said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna be here, make the most of it. That's what your whole fucking agenda's been for 2020. You know, I call it 2020 vision, bettering yourself,
Mm-hmm.
bettering the people around you, starting with yourself, right? But people see you do better. So they're like, what are you doing? That type of thing. So you know what? Let's fucking make this work. So I just started going, taking it more serious, like the podcast. To me, it's more of a hobby, but I said, right now, this is my job. Let's work on it. I'm not going to work full time, but I'm going to do 3 hours of work on my laptop and just fucking crank out fucking just, even though it's, to me, it's, I enjoy it, having these conversations with listeners, you know, through DMs. Right now, they're fucking loving it. And one thing you got to take into account, I don't feel like any type of anything, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
as a somebody, but you're gonna see it. People will be drawn to what you say. The posts you make, people will be like, "Oh my god!" I'm, you know, especially like sometimes I'll get DMs from people I don't know, from Georgia, from fucking Jacksonville, from fucking New York, from fucking South America, and they're like, "Oh, you know," in their head, they're like, "Dude, I'm talking to this host from the show. I'm just a piece of shit with the microphone," but in their mind, they think it's somebody. You get me? So
And
just
it's not just the horny Indians, right?
yeah.
They got
So you just reaching out and replying to their DM, talking about episode number 9 that they loved. You're just like, hey man, thank you for listening. Let me know what else you like. Let me know what you didn't like. And they're like, oh my God, so great to talk to you. Yeah. And you're just like, dude, I'm a nobody. But you know, they appreciate it. So that's my job right now, you know, just kind of DMing them back, having conversations with them, because it's, to me, it's cool, but it's
uh-huh.
not like something that I plan on doing forever. Because
Let me ask you something real quick. Did you ever like think of monetizing it or like having some sort of a sponsor? I think you might have mentioned that on one episode, but like you turned it down or something.
yeah, because I mean, if it ever gets there, I will. But you got to hit a certain plateau where, like, consistently, you know, because my episodes depends on who I bring on, depends, you know, the mood of the week. Like right now, quarantine, everybody's listening to everything. All the episodes are like getting re-listened to again.
Mm,
But the thing is, there's some episodes that come up, come down. Some weeks were like around holidays. No matter who you have on, they're gonna go down. The
mhm.
next week they'll listen. They'll go back and listen. But you just gotta. They go by the first 30 days. How many listens you get in the first 30 days?
Yeah.
And my thing is, I don't want to start filling it up with ads, even though people could skip through it and all that, until
Mhm.
I feel like it's worth it. You know, like right now, I always said when I will do that personally is when I could afford to take a day off. When this is making enough money for me to take a day off of work, where I could just be like, you know, Mondays or Wednesdays is my day for podcasting
I
because
see.
I'm making the amount I make at work here.
Uh-huh.
I'll do it, and so I will if it comes up. But for the time being, I don't want to just do it just for the sake of making 30, 40 bucks. You know, I want to make sure it's something that it's, and something like a good sponsor, something that I actually
Yeah.
want to endorse, not just some bullshit that's paying for a mug, you know, for a coffee. I wanted
Hey,
something that that I'll stand behind.
well, they fucking give me money to hawk some fucking nut shaver or whatever. I'll do it. I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah,
Like,
if I'm gonna use it, yeah. But I mean, I'm
what
not
is
gonna
it? What's big right now on podcast? Manscaped.
manscape,
Yeah.
manscape. But
I mean,
so definitely something I've thought about. Um, I don't think I'm there yet. Just being honest with myself, being honest with the listeners. In time, I think people have asked me, "Do you think you'll get there?" I think so. Just because gradually over time, you know, it'll get to the point where it's like that. But I don't make that my goal. You know, this is the fun part. You know, the conversations, different perspectives, and I
mhm.
feel like the genuineness through that, like they could hear it, even though they don't see us. They could hear it, and they know that I'm interested in what I'm talking about, interested in who I'm talking with, and so I think over time that's why it's grown the way it has. Because at the
I
beginning it
see.
was all my friends, right? It was all my friends, and then their friends, but then it just kind of grew on its own. And to me, it's kind of humbling, but at the same time, I'm kind of aware that it's not a show about me. It's
Mm-hmm.
just I'm just only constant, but it's not about me. It's about the people I bring on. That's what I was. I've told you I don't like doing those solo. I call them solo cholo. I don't like
Yeah.
doing the solo cholo because it's not about me. Like that's the last resort. Like if I have to, I will. But I'd much rather talk with somebody than, like you said, just fucking
I'm gonna
verbal
give you an
diarrhea.
observation, man. Give you an observation. I listened to your solo one, right?
I didn't like it.
And um, you do this thing when you're talking on your own. I don't know if you're conscious of it, but you start doing the fucking Barry White voice, man.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So your voice is a kind of normal tone, normal pitch right now. But when you did the solo one, it's like, hello, like fucking. I don't know what it is. Maybe it was just like it's kind of awkward to talk to yourself.
It is. It is. I had a couple shots of whiskey before, and then I had a whiskey and a beer next to me because I was just like, it's a little nerve wracking. It really is. It's a little nerve wracking to be like, they're judging on you. Like not to say they're judging us, but as far as this being a good episode, it's you and me. If people listen to it, it's you and me. If
Mm-hmm.
people hate that episode, it's all me. That's I try not to have an ego, but at the same time, people hate on my voice all the time. Like not saying that you do, but I'm saying people told me like, why would somebody with the lisp have a podcast? Like that doesn't make any sense. I just find it amusing, and
You have I guess it's a slight list, but
yeah, I'll do
not noticeable.
people dig people. What's it called? I am.
I'm gonna say something a little unfriendly here. That's white people. That's gotta
Yeah,
be white people.
yeah. The accent, I guess. I don't think I have
Sorry,
an
white
accent.
people. I love you too, but uh, I find that they usually like try to dig at shit. Like if you look at Facebook, right, and like I don't know, Domino's is like, we have this fucking great deal, right? You'll find all the angry white people in the comments like, my pepperoni came fucking askew. It's like,
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
you call that white people problems, white privilege. Like when your pepperoni being a little askew is your biggest worry in life, like you got a pretty good life, man.
I mean, shit, you got to straighten up that pepperoni sometimes, man. Fucking can't have a skewed pepperoni.
It's. I mean, we're all guilty of it, right? Last time, I forgot what I was complaining about. I don't order off Amazon, right? Very rarely, and I forgot what I ordered. And this is
I
before
hope
the
you don't
Rona.
order off a Wish, man.
Oh,
Trying to get some of that fucking. You see some of the fucked up ads on there?
yeah, dude, that shit is funny.
I'm like, how the fuck did you generate this bullshit on the ad? I'm like, they're selling like fucking sex dolls
Yeah,
and like
uh,
cock rings. I'm like, what the fuck?
and it's like $2.
Yeah, it's a deal. Try
Oh,
to find a $2 Japanese sex doll or whatever in the U.S. It's not gonna happen.
dude, I forget the point, but I ordered something off Amazon, and it said like 3 to 4 days because it was a big product, and so I was like, oh fuck, dude, it's not gonna be here till fucking Monday. I needed it by Friday.
Mhm.
I forget who I mentioned it to. They're like, dude, there's a fucking hurricane in Florida, and you're fucking worried about this piece of shit. And I'm like, perspective. You're right. You're right. You're right. Because sometimes we're over here, fucking Southern Cali, 75 degrees in December. I'm over here like, oh man, I need this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's true. If we don't see it, it's out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, but I think we're talking about complaining. I think like us as brown people, sometimes we complain a little differently. Sometimes it's not so much like, oh, this shit went wrong. It's more like, like I don't need that shit. Like
Yeah.
we're too good for it sometimes.
And personally, what I've tried to do lately is make it funny when shit hits the fan. I see the humor in it. Like I I think the listeners know. Um, I co-parent, right? So
Mm.
with everything going on, I'm essential but illegal. Child support said doesn't matter. Like your payments are still due this date because your child still needs all this, and which is true, which is true. And I've been making the payments and all that good stuff. And I know other people have been making the payments. But I was just like, dude, the world's ending, and like I don't give a fuck. Like you're gonna pay us like 1st and 15th, And I was just like, there's humor in that, like everybody else, like fucking mortgages are like, yo, dude, take a month off. We know you're not working. But
I'm surprised they eased up on fucking student loan payments.
yeah, see, they're everybody except this shit. Which I mean,
Because
I don't mind because she is my daughter, right? I gotta Everybody should be responsible for their own offspring. But it was just humorous. Like I got the letter, I was thinking like, I know they don't give a fuck. And I read it like, due to whatever, we will work with the payment plan, but the amount XXX is still due by X date. The amount XXX is still due by this date. Uh, there will be repercussions if you don't pay. I was like, like,
so no type of fucking
no,
leeway.
dude. I was like, dude, this is great. This is great. But then the thing is, if I like screenshot that or take a picture and share it, people are like, oh, this piece of shit doesn't want to pay. So you got to pick your battles. So I know the people listening to this will be like, yeah, dude, I know he's trying to be a good dad. So I'm sure he's not complaining about the fact that he has to do it.
What agency sends you that paperwork? Is it the like child welfare and all that shit?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a CDC because I want to, but it's not because that's the pandemic one. But it's something similar to that, like the CCD or the DCC, Department
DCFS?
of Child.
It's not DCFS, right? Because that's for
DCFS.
No, it's not.
I just threw out their card yesterday too because even I was like, dude, I know how much I got to pay. I know what's due. Like you don't need to.
But anyway,
yeah, you don't need to say me this depressing ass shit, you motherfuckers.
They probably send you a list of resources and shit, and it's like, well, your payment's still due on this day, so go to the Wish page, order that fucking cock ring, and go start a fucking OnlyFans page.
And OnlyFans, dude, that's crazy. Those bitches are making.
I just found out what that shit is too. That's fucking. I want to interview one of those bitches, man. Like,
dude, you should. I thought about it too, or a porn star. I thought about a porn star, and I always said like, dude, with Zoom, that'd be cool because they're gonna be on their side. I'm not no creep, but that'd just be weird. Like, hey, you do porn? What's up? Like this. At least they'd have the privacy of their own home. I honestly thought about that over the weekend.
They're not shy about it.
Oh no, Riley Reid. I listened to her episode with Eric Weinstein on the Portal. He has a great podcast, and she goes by her real name on there. Like, she's an educated woman. I'm like, oh, no wonder she's making a killing. Like, she's a really smart lady that does porn. She's not a porn actress. She's a fucking entrepreneur. At least her. I can't speak on all of them, but just her.
No, some of them are just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, we used to have one that was a regular at a bar that I worked at. That would come in all the time, and
crazy.
Bitch is fucking nuts, man.
Yeah. There's a reason why they're fucking getting filmed for, for cash.
And I worked at a strip club too before.
Oh, cool.
It was not a good experience.
Oh shit.
But it's real funny though, because I got a good story about that because, I think I mentioned a few times already. I work with kids, right? And so I believe it was like 2007, 2008. I just started working in after-school programs. Before that, I was doing a little coaching with wrestling and everything. So I just started working in an after-school program. I was working actually in the district where I grew up in the Mountain View School District, right? They had me going all over the place. I think I was at Baker Elementary the most consistently. At the same time, though, it doesn't pay enough, right? So at that time, I was working at the strip club, and it was kind of funny, the two dynamics because. You'd go and work with strippers at night and then go work with fucking kids in the afternoon, right? And there was this one little shitty kid, man, and I hate to say it, because I try my best to have as much patience as I can with all the kids. But at that point, I was fresh, I was new, and I'm like, fuck this kid, man, he's a jerk, And I remember I was going to talk to his mom that one day, and I see this lady come up, right? And she looks familiar. Right, it's kind of one of those things where you look each other in the eye and you're like, "Where the fuck do I know you from?" Right? Because I started going through my head. I'm like, "No, you didn't go to high school with me. You didn't work at like a fucking another school or anything with me or anything like that." I started coming closer. I'm like, "That's one of the fucking strippers from the goddamn strip club." I'm like, "What the fuck?" So it was just kind of ironic that the little asshole kid, his mom was a fucking stripper. And that explains so much.
It all adds up.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm like, fuck, man. If that kid ever acted up again, I would have been like, you know what? Fuck you, man. Because I seen your mom's kid. No, that'd be one of the most fucked up things to say. But
no, but you could see why certain people act a certain way. Like grandma's raising that kid,
Mm-hmm. No, I've seen a lot of that. That's like the not so fun part. But then you think about it too, and it's like, look, most of us in the field grew up in some sort of fucked up environment too, you know?
And that's what breeds. Yeah, yeah, true, true.
And I think through struggle, you develop character, you develop resilience as well, you know? If everything were fucking easy to begin with, I don't think I'd have the same, confidence, the same, uh, just fucking attitude overall. You know, I think,
Perspective.
yeah, same
I
perspective. It's just, you have to struggle a little bit somewhere along the way. You can't have everything fucking handed to you because
yeah.
you're never going to learn a goddamn thing.
And you're saying you're pitching my show to my peoples. Yeah, that's what they like about this. You know, I've had people that didn't have an easy upbringing. You know, they share their fucking failures. They share their hurt. You know, their turmoil, and you know, you
Mhm,
come out stronger person at the end. You come still a work in progress, but we're all trying to be better, right? And
mhm,
so when we all have that some aspect of that, you know, that struggle, be it financially, be it loss, be it um, weren't educated, be it tough neighborhood, you know. So people relate and they're intrigued by it. And those that can't relate, they love getting a look into our lives. You know, like what the fuck you did? What? Like your homie shot a kid at 15? Like that's great, you know, because over there in the burbs, like there's none of that. So that it captivates them, you know. And
mhm,
I feel like it makes for great storytelling because everybody has a story. And if your story is like, yeah, I went to a 4-year school because my parents paid for it. When I got out, I got handed this job. You know, nobody wants to hear that shit.
mhm.
But everyone wants to hear it's a beautiful struggle. And it's a little motivational when you hear people that like work 2 jobs to pay for school.
I
Fucking
wonder,
no, go ahead, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I wonder if those people that have the shit handed to them, I wonder if they ever get like that Siddhartha fucking complex, you know, where they're like, fuck, I have to go give up everything and fucking,
Start from
start with shit, you know, a
yeah,
fucking bowl and the clothes on my sack, you know.
yeah. Because I mean, it doesn't have to be an impossible story, you know, but a little fucking heartbreak here and there makes for a better story. And unfortunately, it sucks while it's happening. But after the fact, I think you survive. You're sharing your story, so people kind of like appreciate that. Like, damn, and we could all relate. You know, when you hear somebody fucking not giving up on their dream, keep doing what they're doing, and just head down and hustle. You, you kind of relate to that and just say, okay, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best because this guy's not quitting. This guy's not giving up. And I mean, to me, I enjoy those stories. Not purposely, but a lot of those stories end up being told on here because everybody opens up. You know, they want to share their story. They want people to know, like, hey, look at me, I'm a piece of shit. I always say I'm a piece of shit. So you know, like, look, I'm not perfect either, but you know, we're doing our best.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I mean that's humility. You know, you gotta learn to be humble at some point. You know, I always relate everything back to, you know, I love the sport of wrestling. You know, I did that uh, all throughout high school. You know, did it a couple of years at Rio Hondo College, and I think one of the reasons I enjoyed it so much is because I wasn't a fucking natural. You know, I think there's certain things uh, in regards to talent and hard work where you appreciate the hard work more than the talent. Because I'll put it this way: look, musically, I think I'm gifted. You know, I think I'm talented. I could fucking pick up an instrument and learn it. You know, at least the basics, probably in a day or less. Right? I
Nice.
am the greatest karaoke singer on earth. I challenge anybody to tell me I'm not. And all of that shit just kind of, it feels like it comes naturally, and it's talent. You know, never had to work at it, but I also think that's why I never realized any sort of like full potential, like musically, right? I just kind of took it for granted, where it's like, I'm a pretty good, you know, fucking drummer, I'm a good singer, you know, I'm okay at guitar, you know, I could put together a song. I don't know if you listened to that little track I had for the podcast intro, but that was, like I said, that was a song I recorded 16 years ago.
Where where did you post it?
It's in the video on the podcast page. Um, it's it's the only video I have up on there. It
Okay,
says,
because
you know,
when I liked the page, there was nothing on there.
oh, okay, yeah, I just posted it like pretty fucking late, man. I'm telling you, I
Okay,
wasn't able to sleep. But if you look at it again, there's
I
a
will
video on
after.
there. Yeah, and it's pretty much the title track of the podcast, you know, Ignorance is Strength, right? That's the name of the song. Recorded that shit 16 years ago, right? Nobody taught me how to play guitar. Nobody taught me how to play on a fucking drum set, you know. Just happened to be able to record it. That's something I'll get into in one of the episodes with my buddy Whitey, aka Alfred. He's going to be on one of the episodes as well. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the music we put together. But that was just all talent, man. It was like no work for it. I can't imagine if I put in the actual hard work and the discipline where I could have been, right? But going back to something like wrestling, I was not a natural, you know? I fucking hate any sort of cardio. Wrestling is all cardio, you know? You wrestle for fucking, 30 seconds? It's like running a goddamn mile, you know? It's just you exert so much energy. And so I think the reason why it stuck with me so much is because I had to work very hard at it. You know, I got tossed in there into varsity at freshman year. You know, I won my first match. Luckily, I was like, yeah, got a little bit cocky there, but then I got my ass handed to me for like 8 or 9 matches in a row. Maybe picked up another win somewhere, but that was it. You know, but I knew I wanted to keep going. So that off season, once high school season ended, Rio Hondo College had an open wrestling room every like Monday and Wednesday from like 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Right? I would run from fucking Mountain View all the way to Rio Hondo College, go get beat up by the college guys, and run back home. Right?
Nice.
And that was every fucking, you know, Monday and Wednesday night when I didn't have to go. Right? They had like summer league at Arroyo. You know, again, trying to get out there with the best fucking people around that could beat you up. You know, you have to get beat up in order to get better. You know, so I did see a bit of a significant change coming in sophomore year. I remember, you know, it was a little more even, probably about like 15 and 15 or something like that, which was okay, but you know, I it wasn't great. It was still kind of like, well, I have work to do. You know, started kind of hitting my groove a little bit. You know, junior year kept the same fucking thing up. You know, practice on off season, do it year round, work at it. You know. And then I remember my senior year was pretty good. You know, I probably could have gone pretty far if it hadn't been for all the fucking injuries and everything, and you know, just bad luck of the draw and the CIF tournament and whatnot. But you know, I think I started off with like a 20-0 record almost, so I finally lost, and then I ended up with like a 40-something and 9, which was pretty good.
Yeah,
you know,
that's great.
But you learn to appreciate something like that a lot more because you put in the fucking hard work. If I was just naturally gifted at it, I don't think I would have been as passionate about it, you know. And I think if there's anything that taught me the most lessons at an early age, other than you know a fucking kind of shitty upbringing, it was that sport, kind of learning to harness all the bullshit going on in your head and putting it towards something productive. And that's one of the big differences between talent and discipline. I always kind of tout that when I talk to people, you know, especially kids who are like, you know, oh, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. Well, you could. Just got to work a little harder. You know, anybody could do anything they want to do. You just got to work a little harder
at it. I mean, and hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And yeah. I mean, dude, you said it so great. You know, like I'm a big MMA fan, right? So I watch a lot of these fights, watch a lot of the training camps. And some of the best coaches, they have a great fighter that's a striker, right? And this guy comes in and just wants to strike, box, kickbox for like 6-7 hours. And they're like, no, today you're grappling, you're doing jiu-jitsu. And they're like, we did that yesterday. Like, yeah, we're going to do that again today. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, no. And they say the guys that get better are the guys that just do it. Because you guys go get guys, you know, they're divas pretty much. They're like, I want to work on, you know, this fucking counterpunch or some shit. He goes, but the guys that get better are the guys that work on the things they're not great at. Because you're already a great striker. Why are you striking for? Like, you can't get that much better. Like, yeah, you should work on that as well. Mm-hmm. You need more help on the ground. So you need to grapple, train jiu-jitsu, do some wrestling, you know, just because that's where you need to work. Like, it's not your favorite and you suck at it. So that's where you're going to get good.
I think you see that with you look at fighters like as early as like Chuck Liddell, or if you look at like, you know, Dan Henderson and Daniel Cormier, you know, you can't fucking tell they're wrestlers, right? Yeah. I mean, watch them fight, you're like, where's the wrestling?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it works to people's detriment. You look at somebody like fucking Josh Koscheck, and he
Yeah.
always just tries to land that right hand, and that's all he goes. That's all he goes to. But for some guys that probably worked super hard at it, and maybe didn't train as much wrestling, and focus a little more on striking, like is it like a Chuck Liddell, like a Henderson, like a Cormier. It shows. You have to kind of relearn it, and it's not easy to go from wrestler mentality to striker mentality. I don't have any sort of significant MMA experience or anything like that. I kind of dabbled in it a little bit in like 2007 in the local fucking Ring of Fire. It was just
Nice.
pretty cool. Did you ever hear about that?
Yeah.
They had it
Yeah.
in Monrovia.
Yeah.
Fucking great, man. It was cool to have some, like an underground type of thing like that in in the area. Um, and I'm talking about when they had it in their warehouse. Like they hadn't even it wasn't even sanctioned at that point. I think later on they started having it like in high school gyms and whatnot. But it was pretty fucking cool to have it like in the warehouse. I think they made a documentary. Yeah, they did. They made a documentary about it years ago, and it's still on YouTube. It's called Inside the
Okay.
Ring of Fire.
And so I'll legit will watch that tonight because I am like all that stuff. I was just talking to my dad about it recently. The
Mm-hmm.
fight that introduced me to MMA, the Ultimate Fighter season 1 finale. Like I had heard about the UFC. Some of my friends talked about it here and there, but I just kind of, a boxing fan at heart. I just kind of never really gave it time of day. I would watch a few fights here and there, but nobody really had the pay-per-views back then. They were like $60, and it was like people I didn't know. You get me? So I was like, if they had it on, I'd watch it. But I remember a couple of my friends, like, we're supposed to go do something. We were juniors in high school, and I remember like we canceled because they canceled because they were gonna watch the finale, which was on a Thursday. And so I was like, fuck it. Like, I guess I'll watch it. And dude, that fight, I showed it to my dad just because I was like, this is what introduced me to the sport. Like 16,
Mm-hmm.
17-year-old, like, what the fuck is this? It was just so fucking wild. And Big George, shout out to Big George, one of my compadre, Israel Flores.
Mm-hmm.
I went with him to a backyard somewhere, I think in La Puente, and he had an MMA match. Obviously not sanctioned. It was in a backyard somewhere. They had mats and everything. There was like 40 fights, and I remember watching
Oh
him fight.
shit!
He
Like
won. Yeah, it was fucking crazy. Like it was a Saturday afternoon, and I was just like, so all that shit was pretty cool. I mean, I never did it myself, but I would be my compadre Israel's guinea pig. Like he would go to Team Flores with George, and we'd go to Mountain View. And remember that by the football post, there was like that black thing right there. I don't know what it was on the floor. It looked like we used that as like our wrestling thing. So he would fucking choke me out and shit right there.
it was like for track or
I
something,
think
right?
so. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it was just like that was our ring. So he would just like, oh, there's a new move I learned, and he just used it on me, and I was like, fuck. So I had to learn some. I didn't really learn much, right? But he would his little combinations. I would hold the mats for him, the pads, and
Mm-hmm.
so that was fun to me, because then we would do sick ass cardio workouts. I enjoyed cardio, just not, like I said, not because I was good, but it was just I had the stamina for it, and we would do like those, what are they called, the firefighters, where you would carry each other like 50 yards and whatnot. And it was just
Yeah.
people would look at it like, what the fuck are these weirdos doing? And I just enjoyed it because it was such a good workout at the time. Fucking 12 years ago, 13 years ago.
That fucking warrior spirit, man. We all have it like kind of buried in there. That's
And
why I kind of hate like how sometimes we live in this fucking femi-man nation where everybody's, like, oh no, toxic masculinity and all this
yeah,
bullshit. I hate that. Like, fuck, let a boy be a boy, let a man be a man. Like, uh,
yeah,
it's like that Rocky quote, like, you're like, don't stop telling me to be a man, or whatever the fuck the quote is. There's like
yeah,
a
man.
meme out there of it. You can't tell
It's
me to stop being a man, something like that.
and it's true, but people don't want to hear the truth. It's in our DNA, man. Like fucking hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, and then they just want to like, no, that's not right. That's not PC. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about respecting people's thing. If you want to be transgender, but sometimes they don't even get offended. Like that's one thing that I was dying of laughter last night was when the Tiger King, the episode 8, when it's on. How did you feel about they kept
Sal,
calling you
right?
yeah, and she's like, I don't even care. I think more people were offended for me. And then that's the thing, like these people don't get offended. It's the people that want to be like what do they call them? virtue kings.
Nice. Yeah. Or yeah, that other
Yeah,
phrase. Yeah.
yeah. Like, oh no, you can't call them that. You got to call them this. And it's like, dude, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah. When I know exactly what scene you're talking about. When I watch that, I'm like, fucking good answer. Like I just
Yeah,
had to get a good
yeah,
answer. Because it's like, uh, I think that's where we have issues with understanding sometimes, where it's like, well, fuck, I made a legitimate mistake. Sorry, I don't know every fucking, you know,
pronoun.
pronoun, gender in the book.
Yeah,
Like, it wasn't like anything personal,
out
but
of yeah,
people
no
automatically
malintent.
want to go on the attack, and again, not the people that are, subject to it, but it's more so the people that are like bystanders where it's like, you can't say that, you got to call them by their proper this and that. And it's like, well, fuck, if I knew I would.
Yeah, and each one prefers a different, and that's the thing. I'm all about like if you know that person and you know that, let's say it's a she and she refers as a she, call her a she, dude. It's not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
But now if you're doing it to be a dick and just calling them the wrong thing, that's kind of fucked up too. That's where I'm like, okay, dude, that's fucked up because you're doing it out of spite or you're doing it out of trying to get a reaction, But if it's just an honest mistake, like I didn't know, I apologize, and then people are like, no, that's not good enough. Like, the whole like cancel, like
Mm-hmm.
delete their Twitter, delete the like, dude, is that all necessary? Like, so people fuck up. They say the wrong thing. Sometimes it's out of context.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's no bad intent. It's just it's legit the way some people were raised. Like I say wetback all the time because I am a
Mm-hmm.
wetback, and people get offended for me. Like you can't say that. And I'm like, if anybody can say it, it's me,
Because
and
you
I'm
own it,
choosing.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm choosing to because, and I say it all the time. To me, it's just a word. If
Mm-hmm.
somebody calls me a wetback, I will not be offended because it's a word, and I
Let me
am that
ask you,
word.
did
Yeah,
you
and I
really
am that
consume
word.
over here?
So it's cool. So like, if they're calling me out of like anger, then it's probably because that's all they can do. They're trying to use words to hurt me, and if they hurt me with words, like what a fucking pussy I am, right?
Mm.
And so when I post like, oh fuck, dude, the fucking they don't want wetbacks like me here. They're like, oh, you can't use that word. I'm like, yes, I can, and I will. But I mean, some people would take offense, if they were to be called that. I mean, to each
Mm-hmm.
their own.
Well, it's because that anonymity is a fucking motherfucker. People, like I said, it's not the ones that are subject to it. It's the ones that are watching. Because they're fucking anonymous and behind a screen or a phone or whatever. They feel compelled to fucking be the Captain Save-A-Ho at that point.
Yeah,
And
I
it's,
haven't heard that in a while.
oh
Captain,
man, that was
that
the
was a good one.
security term. That
Oh
was a
yeah.
bouncer term right there.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
when you go and you do too much because it's not necessary. You just kind of want to jump in and fucking uh, like you want to extinguish every single potential
Threat.
issue before it becomes an issue. It's like there's fucking Captain Save-A-Ho again trying to do too much. We had a few of those. And those guys usually didn't last too long.
That's yeah. In any occupation, you could always tell when people do the like we said earlier. People do the extra. It's. I mean, everybody has their own personality, right? It comes out in different ways. You could see they have the hero complex.
Mm-hmm. Like the bad guy, the heel. Is that what
Yeah,
you mean? Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I embrace that. I love it. I love that shit. Sometimes I think I mentioned it at the end of when I would do all those fucking rants and shit. I'd be like, sometimes I just threw shit out there to see how people would fucking react to it, if they would react to it. I would take a completely fucking different stance than I actually have to play devil's advocate and just write something completely fucking stupid and uh, let me see if somebody's just being a fucking sycophant and they're like, yeah, you're right, or if they actually kind of pause and be like, wait a minute, you're fucking stupid,
Yeah, I
you
don't
know? And
agree with, and that's to me, that's one of the best things when my friends call me out on my bullshit. Because I always said it, like, don't worry about me ever getting head too big, because my friends keep me humble. Some of my best friends don't listen to this show. Like, why the fuck would I want to listen to you? Like, what's more humbling than that? I want to hear 3 hours of your bullshit. So a lot of my friends do, but some of my best friends don't. And like, dude, I will not. I tell them, come on. It's like, fuck that. Like, who wants to hear me? I'm like, dude, people have asked about you coming on. They're like, tell them fuck off. I'm like,
you
okay.
gotta really record them, man. That's ambush them. That's what I'm gonna. It's a technique I'm gonna start using. If somebody doesn't want to be on, I'm gonna fucking ambush them. I'm gonna put the phone up to my goddamn condenser mic because it picks up good sound,
Yeah.
right? Even off the phone, I tested it, and I'm gonna just fucking ambush them, and they're not even gonna know they're on it. And I'm gonna be like, hey, guess what? You just did a fucking episode of a podcast.
Yeah. And dude, honestly, for the quarantine, I sincerely meant it. I never thought I'd do an episode like this, and this is the third one.
Mhm.
I always said it would be face to face, and I'm like, dude, this. There's so many people that I haven't hit up, and that follow me or the podcast page where I'm like, they're out of state. This will not work, you know. And now
Mhm.
I'm like, dude, this is fucking perfect. I could hear you probably better than what I could if you were in front of me through the mic, right?
Right.
And like the audio quality on the previous episodes has been great because it's all here and it's all there. We're not moving around. There's no background noise. There's no nothing. You said there was a fan there. I couldn't even hear anything. So this
Good.
is this is gonna be out of the quarantine. Something good's gonna pop out.
Yeah, and I might try these things out. I mean, I guess I use Zoom for trainings and staff meetings and all that stuff. But this is the first time I try out having this little fucking lighting rig, and I have like a little boom mic on it and everything. So I got all the gadgets and shit. So I wanna play with them a little bit.
That's great, man. I think you're gonna do great. I don't know how long we've been going. Do you want to keep going or do you want to?
We got it, man. You gotta go watch that Ring of Fire
No,
fucking
yeah, I'm gonna watch that, but no, I just feel like because there's gonna be a lot of episodes.
documentary.
We're not even at an hour and a half, I don't think. But I'm gonna try to keep most of them, at least the solo ones, like this not solo, but like one on ones, to less than 2 hours because I don't want to hit them with too much content where they don't listen, and then that defeats the whole purpose of having so many episodes because
I
everybody,
think like fucking 45 minutes to an hour is like perfect,
yeah,
right?
I've done personally. I think I found like my little niche where
Mm.
people like the long form conversations. The average is like 2 hours and 10 minutes or so, like that for mine. I've done episodes as short as 45 minutes, but most of them are like about 2.5. The longest two have been 4 hours and 5 minutes and 4 hours and 15 minutes. So I mean, depends on conversation. This is going great, but I don't know. We didn't talk about it beforehand. How long you want it to be on?
It doesn't matter, man. Like if you had any other questions you wanted to ask me, I'm all for it. I'll fucking shotgun them right now, or if not, I'll jump on one of the other things another day.
No, I'd love to hear more about your show. What you have planned. I know what you mentioned about the gas. You know, start off. I don't like what you said about how you said soft ones, and that's not soft. That's just smart. You're going because you're getting a feel for it. You're getting a feel for okay, this is the type of people I'm gonna have on. So I forgot how you worded it, but
Safe
safe. Yeah, yeah.
conversation.
It's not safe episode. That's where you start. I did the same thing. I had my compadre, Big George, and my friend George Hernandez. After that was like the first seven were all my like close friends. Then I started
Yeah.
branching out to people, acquaintances, and then was like people
Yeah.
that I heard through the show. You get me?
So
Like,
so I guess to reword it, right? This is the fucking warm up where you're just you're doing the bench with no fucking weights on it. You're just positioning the
okay,
bar.
getting your
Yeah.
reps in. Okay, okay, I see.
Yeah. So I guess safe in a way. That bar is not going to kill you, but I also think it'll give me an opportunity to establish my rhythm. I have plenty of content that I can pull out of them if they're kind of stiff. You know, because I think a lot of people. I don't know if you experienced it or not, but I anticipate that a lot of people will kind of like freeze up a little bit. You
Yeah,
know, and
and
so go
I
ahead.
didn't even do it with you. Well, we kind of did. We did it like before we started recording the other previous. Kind of just what I do in person is let them know, hey, I don't edit. I don't what is it? It's unedited, uncensored, unfiltered. So you can say whatever the fuck you want, but there will be
Mhm.
no editing. So once we
Mhm.
start, it's a go. So if you want to do
Yeah,
like a
man.
quick little 2 minutes of practice, just so you feel, because everybody's in person, you got to be here. That's why I haven't moved back or anything, because the audio will come and go. And people do this once they, like, so where are you gonna be? They're like, I'm right here. Like you don't got to be all up on it, but you got to be close enough so it gets everything. And people do tense up, so I'll just be like, just get comfortable. That's why most of the time we'll have a beer or two because people will like, oh hell yeah, and then you get them and then they're sweating, and then they're nervous and they're like checking their phone and they're like, dude, do you have napkins? Like I've never done this before. And I'm like, dude, chill. Like people are gonna listen to it, but you're not gonna say anything bad. You're not gonna say anything stupid. If you say anything stupid, we'll run with it. We'll make it fun.
Mm.
Just kind of let them know what they're getting into, and it's to me it's funny because I feel the same way, right? Like before this, I was like, okay, 9 o'clock. It was like 8:40. I was like, I gotta get my laptops out, get everything set up. And
Mm.
your heart, even me, I feel like, oh fuck, don't say anything stupid. Think before you speak. Sometimes I'll be like, and I do that where you sound silly. Where you're just like, at least myself, where I'm like, I don't word it because I start trying to speak before I I've thought it
Yeah,
out.
you think too fast for your words. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's just something that happens, but I let them know, dude, have some fun. Have some fun. This is what we're trying to do. Have some fun. It's it's really cool. It's one of my favorite things to do. I wish I had more time for it. Right now I do. That's why I'm doing 2 episodes a week. It's I don't know what can I let the people know, get it out there, talk to everybody about it. I don't throw it on people, but
Mm,
it comes up in conversation because coworkers, a lot of my coworkers didn't know I had it for such a long time. And
mm.
then one
Were you
time,
tentative about that, like telling them like, "Hey, I got this shit," or
no, I
you
didn't
kind
tell
of?
anybody. I started doing it. The only thing I did was around last year in January, I decided, like I said, fuck enough talking about it. I'm just gonna do it. Kind of what you did, right? Just do it.
Just
So
straight no lube, man. Just
yeah,
fucking raw.
I bought
That's
a
disgusting. Go
domain,
ahead.
started a website, got on Libsyn, bought the equipment, and then I just hit up people that I want to have on, like the safe people, right? Like
Mhm.
these are the people I want to start off. It's gonna be great, but I want to get you guys on because it's not outside my comfort zone kind of thing. Just kind of let's do it, and I'll be at ease with them. And
Yeah.
so I just kind of started telling Facebook and Instagram. I made my Instagram, Facebook pages, and then just started kind of like putting it out there. Hey, I'm gonna record this day with this person, and people are like, oh shit, like what is this? Because even though people you have Facebook friends or whatever, there's a lot of them that will not see your post, and then come June, you're gonna post an episode, be like, what the hell? You have a podcast? I don't even know, and you're like, that's all I've been posting for the last 4 months, but they don't get on all the time, or the algorithm doesn't show them. And so you got to constantly put different things out there, different times on the weekends, just try different things. And back to the work, I'm not going to tell these people. I'm not going to tell these people. I'm not going to tell these people. And so then when I would give, go grab some lunch or something, I never turn off my Bluetooth. It's just on. So when I get in my car, the Bluetooth starts and it's the Joe Rogan podcast. Like, you listen to this shit? I'm like, I drive too much. I don't like listening to music because then my heavy metal mood, now I want to listen to corridos. Now with the podcast, I get stuck in that conversation. I'm like, dude.
Mhm.
And then a week or two goes by, and then like, you know what I was thinking? You make a great podcast. Like you know a little bit about everything. You don't talk bad about people. Like you know how to like phrase things so that people don't get offended, even when you're telling them. Cause I was like a supervisor. Like even when you're telling people how to do things, like you don't disrespect them, and everybody likes you. And I was like, trip out on this. I'm gonna send you something. So I'll send them a link to the YouTube channel or to like my Instagram page, whatever was more convenient. And I'm like, that's you? And I'm like, yeah. And it was just kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? It was more organic
Yeah.
because I wasn't like pushing it on them. Because like my friends on Facebook, they already know me. They've seen the whole struggle that I was talking to you about. They've seen like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. This is my next project. Hey, I'm launching this date. Hey, I'm at this place recording with this person. But this person doesn't see all of that. So when they kind of they talk about it or whatever, I show them that. They're like, dude, this is fucking awesome. They subscribe. A lot of them listen to it now. A lot of them have left that job and they still keep in touch through the podcast because they listen to it. Be like, yo, dude, this episode, whatever, whatever. Some of them are doing the 20 challenges, the 20, not all of them, but some of the challenges. They'll be like, dude, I'm going to do the water one. Like we've been talking about drinking water because I cut down soda for this year. And we would grab a soda every time we went to 7-Eleven, chug, 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 fill it up, and let's go, big gulp, like twice a day. And so like, dude, you really left soda? I'm like, dude, I think today's like 115 days of no soda. Or
I hate
105 days.
I hate to keep stacking it on you, man. You know how many days, years I did without soda?
How,
I did 8 years.
wow.
Uh,
Are you still
li-
current on that?
no, no, no. I mean, because uh, it was really weird how it kind of came about too. Like, I guess started wrestling, was trying to lose a lot of weight for it at the beginning, and I cut out everything, fucking, fast food, junk food, soda, and everything else came back. The junk food and the fast food and everything, but the soda, I'm just like, I don't need this shit.
Yeah.
And actually, it really helped. Like,
Yeah. I
I
noticed a
think,
change right away, like cheeks. I mean, I was cutting down just because I knew, like the month of December, I was just like,
mm,
okay, I'm gonna do one every other day. Well, I started off with I'm gonna do one a day, and then I was just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna do one with dinner. I'm not gonna do it with lunch, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do it every other day. And then I was like, only on the weekends. So by the time the month ended, because I knew I was gonna like, I can't drink soda, right? I can't drink soda. So like, I don't want to be drinking soda every day and then still a habit. So like after the second week, I was like, dude, I don't even miss it. Like all I drink is coffee and tea and water, no sugar, just black or brown on the tea. But it's it's crazy because a year ago I know there was like with my lunch, big gulp, dinner, double gulp, you know. So these little changes that people see, like they see it in real time, like they're looking at my posts and shit. They always see me with this. I take this everywhere. 25 ounces. I fill it up five. I'm doing
You
100.
know that double gulp is a fucking 2 liter, man.
The double gulp?
I think it's a 2 liter, isn't it?
Is
Yeah,
it?
it's a 2 liter.
You sure? No, no, no. Because the big
I
gulp
think
is
it's a
like
fucking 2 liter, man.
the big gulp is a 32 ounce. I think the double gulp is
64 ounces.
oh shit.
That's a
Yeah.
fucking 2 liter,
Yeah,
man.
dude. And I mean, I'm not proud of it, right? But that was my norm. That was my let's go grab some food, let's go grab some tacos. And you know, a lot of times they saw that little ass 12-ounce can, so we just stop by and grab a double gulp and then go get our food. And now I'm like, fuck, dude, I used to put all that. I still put a lot of bad shit in my body, right? Processed foods and fucking um, frozen dinners, hot pockets. But it's like cutting down a little bit and a little bit goes a long way.
You got to get on this fucking this quarantine cooking fucking kick, man.
I've
Been
been
cooking
doing
some
it.
badass stuff.
I've seen. I've been doing it too. On certain, it's just like fuck every meal, you know. So I mean, I cut down a lot. It's opened my eyes. Just the water and the soda alone is like pretty much life changing. Because I I used to drink 3 coffees and like 2 teas and then a soda or two a day, which is crazy amount of caffeine. And now during the quarantine, I pretty much down to 1 coffee, maybe 1 tea every other day. 1 coffee a day, that's just the norm for me. Like I don't even really get a kick out of it, like a caffeine boost, but I just enjoy the flavor. Like it's dark. I'm having one at 9 p.m. and I'll be cool. What time is it? It's not even 9.
And you know, it's really weird how some people just they cannot drink water. I've found that so weird where they're like, oh, it's disgusting. I can't drink it. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you know, I don't know where I developed this whole like just taste for water. I'm like, fuck, cold water is like the best thing in the
Cold
world.
water
But
is the
yeah,
best. Yeah, I can't drink room temperature water. Even the
hell
winter,
no.
I
No.
like it has to be cold, and that's why I love this thing. It holds the what's it called, the freshness, the fucking temperature very well. Like I'll leave it sometimes. I go to bed and I wake up and it's still fucking cold, and I don't put no ice or anything. It's just refrigerated water. But it's crazy seeing. You're gonna do great, man. I'm really looking forward to your show. I really am, like sincerely. Like I think you're gonna do
Thanks,
great.
thanks. I'm looking forward to it too, man. It's gonna, like I think I've already got the first 5 episodes planned. I'll give you a quick synopsis of each one. So we're gonna do episode 1, steroids. Episode 2, we're gonna do a little bit about music, marijuana, and marriage. That's
Music,
the
marijuana, and marriage. The three
that's the
M's.
3 M's. Yeah. Episode 3, we're gonna get nurse's point of view of the pandemic.
Beautiful.
Also,
I'm actually doing that too. That's great. That's great.
yeah, you know,
4.
he's
Oh, go ahead. Go
also
ahead.
he's also undocumented too, so he's gonna
Oh,
give me,
nice.
you know,
Not
his
nice.
it is what it is,
I
right?
know. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like
Through
he'll get his
struggle,
voice
right?
out there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and he's gonna give a little bit of his background and his military experience and everything like that. Episode 4, we're gonna talk about weight loss. I'm gonna have a guest on that has lost over 100 pounds twice in his lifetime,
Wow.
and you know, hopefully that'll get me to kickstart a little something, and I'll be less cheeseburger than man at that point. And then I'm gonna have a teacher friend of mine on episode 5. We're gonna talk about the school closures, but also he's gonna go down some of these conspiracy theory rabbit holes. So It should be
Nice.
fun.
Nice, dude. People love conspiracy theories. That's another episode or another podcast that's been announced a few times that they've mentioned that I should do. Because you know, there's a few that have come out to be true. Operation Paperclip is one I always mention. Fucking, we got all the Nazi scientists over here. You know, he was a main head for NASA, and people were like, "Oh, that's a conspiracy." Like that is true. Like that is well documented. The flat Earth, dude. There's just so many. Like you could pick and choose, but that's you're gonna do great. Just hearing those five, I can already tell I'm gonna listen. Hopefully, you guys listening at home will tune in. But dude, I don't want to go on too long. Plug your show, plug your page, plug your show. Tell them where to find you on Instagram and Facebook.
So on Facebook and Instagram, it's / ignorance is strength podcast. All one phrase, no spaces, any of that stuff. I haven't done any other social media just yet. I think I'm trying to put together a YouTube. But I mean, if you connect to those two, and again, I'm a preface by saying I'm a little bit social media stupid at this point, but I'm gonna learn. Right now it's just the Facebook and the Instagram. As I learn to navigate those. But again, that's Ignorance is Strength podcast.
And I'll give his page a shout out. And when his podcast is up, I'll let you guys know as well. I'll make sure to tag him so they could give it a listen. But so it's not a self-help podcast, but it is a little tradition we have here. We call it Words of Wisdom to wrap up the show. Anything you give the audience, just to a little quick or long, doesn't matter, however long you want to take, something to just end the show on a high note.
I feel like I threw a lot of gems out there already, but I'm going to give you this short and sweet. All right. So the world is a diaper. Sure, you could change it, but every now and then it's just going to be full of shit again. So you could either walk around being full of shit or you can continuously change it. And that's that.
That was beautiful. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Okay. Thank you.